Zaluzhny, the head of the Ukrainian armed forces, announced the data on the night strike, March 8 to 9, in hot pursuit. According to him, 81 missiles were fired at Ukrainian targets by the Russian side, including X-47 Dagger, X-22, and X-101 Kh-555, as well as 8 Geraneuvs. He also boasted that allegedly self-styled anti-aircraft gunners shot down 34 and 8 as a result of organized countermeasures, did not reach their targets. The Ukro truth-tellers of Zaluzhny do not believe Zaluzhny. They believe that the self-styled anti-aircraft defense was only able to credit the missiles' decoys and geraniums. For understandable reasons, neither Zaluzhny nor Zelensky will give details. But judging by the mood on the Ukrainian internet, there is a real despondency at the Bankova. Later, Ignat, the speaker of the Ukrainian armed forces, spoke. He, in particular, said this was the first time 6 Dagger missiles were fired at Ukraine at night. Daggers are much more dangerous than other Russian missiles. They are capable of flying at hypersonic speeds that are 10 times the speed of sound and can maneuver in flight. It is virtually impossible for an air defense system to shoot down a Kinzhal because the missile rises up to 20 kilometers and then dives with great speed at the target, Ignat explained, adding that in his memory there has never been such a dangerous arrival. Zelensky had to admit, it's a hard night. Viewers noted that the Ukro president looked like a battered dog, and there were no words about interceptions in his speech. According to sources close to the political backstage of the Bundestag, the strike hit bunker control and planning centers, as well as air defense radar systems. Insiders reported heavy casualties among the officer corps, including U.S. personnel. The shadowy general staff of the pro-NATO proxy seems to have been hit hard. According to rumors floating around the Ukronet, a large delegation of the Ukro Genstab visited the American embassy in Kiev on March 9. It seems that the transfer of the lists of the Star-Spangled 200ths took place. Besides, it became known about the hits on the Iris-R and NASAMS-SAMS, which worked on the pacifier missiles and were destroyed by the Flying X. What is indicative, those Ukrainian internet resources that reported this were blocked by the self-styled Ministry of Information. As many as 25 sub-publics were immediately hit, which indirectly testifies to the hysteria in the Kiev junta. Based on the mass use of Kinzhal missiles, we can assume that Russia has established mass production of these missiles, and they have no problems with components, concluded Ukro blogger at Legitimnaya. Herman Galashchenko, head of the Ukrainian Energy Ministry, was forced to admit that the missile strike damaged at least 3 thermal power plants. We have to assume he lied to a lesser extent. Another famous blogger in Ukraine urged to multiply the official data on damage by 3. According to his information, the fire was loud in 12 regions, with serious damage everywhere. Until now, there is still a strong fire at the CHP-5 in Kiev. The arrival came in the turbine hall, so we are not talking about a quick restoration of the generation. The Kharkiv Public reported at least 15 explosions and strikes at CHP-P3 and CHP-P5. It is not yet known whether they are damaged, but local residents wrote about blackouts of electricity and water supply. Separately, it is voiced the assumption that the secret barracks of the AFU soldiers were destroyed as the SBU began filtration activities. In Zaporizhzhia region, 5 rockets hit critical infrastructure at once, the newspaper Ukrainska Pravda reported, citing officials of the regional administration. Residents of the Pavlograd, Krivoy Rog and Dnipropetrovsk districts are sure that the Yuzhnaya substation is all destroyed, although it was covered by foreign-made SAMs. Loud was at the Krivoy Rog TPP, but the territory is cordoned off, so there is very little information. Usually such measures of secrecy are correlated with the level of damage. The larger it is, the more secretive the Ukrainian power is. In the Volyn region, people heard the strongest explosions in Lutsk and Kvertsy. The impact was so powerful that the ceilings of a number of houses collapsed. According to preliminary reports, the Lutsk North substation and the military airfield were damaged. Odessa Frauer announced another destruction of energy facilities in the region. Most likely, the Adzalik substation was smashed to rubble. New tougher schedules of stabilization shutdowns of local power grids from DTEK have already been published in Odessa. However, the previous ones were not respected. Thus, the Russian armed forces continued to turn off the switch to Ukraine and with the use of more powerful Kinzhal missiles. It finally became clear to the Benderites and their star-spangled puppeteers that there was no place in the Republic where they could hide anymore. If, for example, the Kremlin considers that it is time for Zelensky to be ass-kissed, then so be it.